Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. This evening is Tuesday, January 13. We're 13 days into the brand new 2026 year. I'm Sandra Cooper, practitioner, and it is my joy to welcome you here this evening. Hi, Carol. Hi, Reverend Michael, and of course, Vance as my wonderful trusty support. And so we want to begin with a few moments of quiet reflection and silence. I'm going to just play some meditative music, and we are going to just breathe into this music and just reflect on the day, what happened, what worked, what didn't work. And as you don't allow yourselves to hold on to it, just allow each thought to just gently pass. Okay, let's take a breath. Always good from time to time throughout the course of our day to just become aware of this wonderful breath that we have that brings life to our bodies. We continue to breathe in and exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. So as you continue to breathe deeply and exhale, just affirm and know that each breath is one that fills every cell and fiber with its life-giving oxygen. And we just allow ourselves to just sit in this moment. To just release all the cares of the day, all the feeling, whether physical or emotional. And just settle into that space of deep, deep gratitude. And so I just invite you now to stay with that feeling of deep gratitude as you just allow each activity today, each event, each situation, each conversation to just filter through that wonderful experience of deep gratitude. And just stay with that gratitude for a while. out gently in our conscious awareness of our breathing. Let us just affirm and know together that every breath we take is a breath of life. And we know that this life is God. And this life I know is my life. And just say quietly to yourselves, this life, it's my life. It is God's life, and it is my life. So as we affirm ownership of the life of God and the breath of God, I speak these words this evening for our wonderful spiritual mind healing service. I know that everyone who comes is abundantly blessed. I know that the spirit of gratitude envelops each one of us in its warm and wonderful embrace. And it lifts us into that higher plane of awareness and understanding of our connectedness with God. Yes, we are grateful. We're grateful for each other. We're grateful for this thing we call truth and the freedom that it brings. We're grateful for the breath that is our very life force. We're grateful for the company and companionship that we have with each other, which binds us together always in wonderful cords of everlasting love. And so in the spirit of gratitude, I surrender, I release, I let go of all that is outside of this present moment and know that God is all there is. There's nothing, no one else. And that is all there is to it. Allow our gratitude to just accept this idea. As we breathe in again and exhale, and just say together, as we anchor this prayer in the words, and so it is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The Carol and Reverend Michael, Dawn, our faithful participant every Tuesday, and Shawnake. Welcome all. It's so good to have each of you here. And of course, Vance providing wonderful support. Okay, so this evening, I want to start by asking you to think about two things that you are really, really grateful for, and then write them in the chat. Now, I don't want you to hit send yet. Just write them in the chat and wait for my instruction to hit send. Two things that you're grateful for. Okay. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Two things that you are grateful for. If you have those two things ready, don't press send yet. Just have them in the chat and I'll tell you when to hit send. Just, all right. So 10 more seconds. Make sure that everyone has two things that you're grateful for. Hi, Karen. Two things that you're grateful for. Now, after 3, hit send. 1, 2, 3, hit send. Okay, wonderful. So we have Van saying life, loving support, Leighton, grace and family love. Shauna K, grateful for this Tuesday gathering and family. Carol, birdsong and my ever faithful peanut. Oh, Dawn says my son and his family and life. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so here's what I want you to consider. No, it's grateful. It's great to be grateful for all these things, you know, life and family, health, food on the table, all those things. And I know that many of us are inclined to say thank you automatically. Thank you when the light is green. Thank you when we get rain and so on. And so we thank life when things go well, for the most part, when our prayers are answered. But what if I told you that the most powerful form of gratitude has nothing to do with comfort or convenience? What if gratitude is not something we offer after life treats us well, but something we choose before we understand what life is doing? Let me say that again. It's something that we choose before we understand what life is doing. Now, we are in a brand new year, and I know that we're all committed to building our prosperity consciousness. And I recall last Sunday, Reverend Ann gave us a powerful blueprint to help us to make that happen. She spoke at length about gratitude as a spiritual magnet that enriches our lives with love, peace, joy, and prosperity. But there is another side to gratitude, and that is what I want to talk about this evening. Now, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18 states, and everybody knows this scripture, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. End of that scripture. So we express our gratitude in the good and in the bad. And I say good and I say bad. And so we don't do it for the bad, by the way, but in the bad. It doesn't mean being thankful for painful events, but rather finding reasons to thank God within every situation, acknowledging that God is there too, and there is divine purpose to be found in every single circumstance. You see, gratitude also has a power to transform loss, disappointment, and disruption into unexpected blessings. You know, those moments in life that stop us in our tracks, a loss we didn't see coming, a door that suddenly closes, a diagnosis, or a situation that leaves us asking, why is this happening to me? And you can even say, why is it happening to me again? In those moments, gratitude is usually the last thing on our minds, because we are in pain emotionally or physically, and we can't think to be grateful for pain. No, sir, that will make no sense. And yet those very moments are often turning points, as we have learned that when one door closes, another opens, because that is when opportunity is born. Deep gratitude does not deny the hard moments. It fuels the courage to meet them, right? And to transform them. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is good. It's about choosing to find the good that is hidden inside everything. So being grateful for waking up this morning, the people that we think love us, and the strength to keep going is what you call entry-level gratitude. Real transformation begins when gratitude is no longer dependent on conditions. You know, when I say that, what I mean is, you know, you finally get that check, yay. Or, you know, you hear a nice song and you go, yay. Right? Or, you know, somebody asks you to marry them and you say, yay. Or you get a clean bill of health and you say, yay, yay. Right? But we want to go beyond that. Real transformation, as I said, is no longer dependent on conditions. You know, when we are just grateful in spite of the condition. So let me give you an example. when, in 2018, beginning of 2018, my 20-year-old car was stolen right from my driveway. Just woke up one morning and it was gone. I was absolutely devastated. I felt violated. It actually came into my yard and took my car. And I was tempted to play the victim role full out. I mean, I would have been ready for an Oscar. But that event opened the door for me to own my first brand new car. If the old car had not been taken, I would never have stretched, never believed, never stepped into that next level of provision. At the time, it looked like misfortune. In hindsight, it was redirection. You see, friends, what some of us might call bad luck is simply life rearranging us for something better than we planned. I have always, there's a particular situation that I'm involved in now. And I say to myself, Father, this or something better. And therefore, I'm learning not to hold on, right? Because the universe just has all kinds of wonderful blessings for us that we don't have any idea what those blessings are yet. So now I'm going to turn it over to you. And this is something you can do quite privately, but I want you to do it anyway. Make sure you have pen and paper. And I want you to think about something like maybe a relationship ending, or maybe a job that didn't work out so well, or maybe a friend sort of let you down, or, monies you expected from a job or a project didn't show, or maybe a diagnosis that suggests a condition that might cause you some challenges. Okay, so just write down what that thing is. I'll give you a minute. I want you to do that. Okay, have something there? All right, now I want you to ask yourself, choose one of those things. And I'm making the assumption that that thing happened in, sometime in the past. Okay. Now I want you to ask yourself, what did that situation grow in you? What did that situation grow in you? In other words, what sort of spiritual muscle did that situation stretch for you? Another question, what strength did it reveal? Certainly the situation with the car made me realize that because I thought I couldn't afford it. And this is why I kept putting it off year after year, because I did entertain the idea of owning a new car. But that little voice that is our limiting voice told me that I couldn't afford it. So that was that. Right? So when the car was taken, it allowed me, the opportunity it brought me was for me to really test the spiritual muscle of abundance, of affirming my oneness with the divine givingness of spirit. And a number of things happened, one after the other, that led me to own the car that I have now. So this is what when we talk about deep gratitude, it asks the kind of question like, what is the lesson here when something is really, really squeezing the very, daylights out of us? What is a lesson? So this question nurtures a trust that your life is being shaped by something that's wiser than your fear. Gratitude doesn't change what has happened. It changes the meaning of what happened. So for example, a diagnosis. I have a friend who shared with me that there was a situation that has come up for her medically, and she was very stressed about it. And in our work together, I shared with her I invited her to just the afflicted part, or the so-called afflicted part. I said, it just needs some love. Yes, do what the doctor tells you to do. But every time you think about that body part, just love it. Love it up, hug it up, think of it in wonderful terms, and just send some love blessings to it. 6 months later, the condition disappeared. Okay? Right? So the gratitude in the situation doesn't change what happened, as I said. It changes the meaning of what happened. She saw this diagnosis as an opportunity to love herself more. And that changed her whole life. The condition went away. So now go back to that quote unquote bad thing that happened that you wrote down. I challenge you to write one way in which you were, that experience strengthened, redirected, or prepared you for something greater. Right? I mean, in a year from now, I will tell you what the particular challenge I'm going through right now, because I know it is just going to be wonderful. And here's something I learned. I said you can write a thank you letter to the situation or to the event. So you can write, for example, dear breakup, or dear canceled contract, or dear heart condition, or dear flu. I didn't understand you at the time, but thank you for what have you. Thank you for the rest that I've been able to get in these 2 weeks that I've had this condition. Thank you for realizing that this person wasn't the right person for me. Thank you for, if that contract was canceled, thank you for the space that allowed me to get a bigger contract. And this attitude, friends, it rewires your perception. It, instantly, right? It's called reframing. So you give a whole different perspective to the situation, and that's very healing. Okay? So I just want you to really focus on the idea that in all things, I give thanks. Just repeat that to yourself. In all things, I give thanks. Just remember to ask your inner wisdom, what is the hidden gift here? What strength is being born in me? What is opening up that I cannot yet see? I cannot see it. It's out of my ambit, but it's coming. Okay? And just breathe through those questions. What am I here to learn from this situation? It might seem overwhelming and stressful and challenging, and you might not know what you're going to do. But just know that there's a bigger reality waiting on you. Okay? So that said, I know that gratitude is just more than saying, gee, thank you, God, for this wonderful dinner. When we move beyond thanking life only for what feels good, and we learn to give thanks in all things, we reclaim our power. Loss becomes redirection. Disappointment becomes preparation. And what once might have felt like misfortune becomes the doorway to transformation. Gratitude does not erase the hard moments. It transforms their meaning, allowing us to live with deeper trust, resilience, and grace. So for the rest of this week, I invite you to practice what we call radical gratitude. Somebody bad drive, you give thanks that you can be present to it and do what you can to avoid any type of situation. Just give thanks. And each night, just take out your journal and write down one thing that challenged you during the day. And then write one way it is shaping you for something greater. And I invite you to do this for 7 days and watch how your inner dialogue shifts from resistance to reverence, from complaint to quiet confidence. Right? Just try that. 7 days of gratitude in all things and watch your life transform. Namaste. So I would like to ask you, as you reflected on some of those not so, what they call them, bad things. What, you don't have to share what the bad thing is, but how have some of these occurrences, how have they helped to make you, how have they strengthened you? Just open and share. Let me see what's in the chat. Jane Silvertooth, number. Okay, not sure if that is someone joining us. I just saw a message in the chat. Jane Silvertooth 3895. Number 1, my God, being grateful for my God consciousness and prayer. Okay, right. So what is a learning? Give me an example of a way in which you have been strengthened by an adverse situation in your life, maybe this week or maybe sometime back in the past. How have you used gratitude to really, really rise above or navigate the situation that occurred for you? Carol, are you well enough to share? Well, I'm declaring your wellness right now. What do you have? What can you say? In spite of this, I am so grateful. And I learned this, or it strengthened me in this way. No, nothing from Carol this evening. Leighton. Body quiet this evening. Dawn. Reverend Michael. Jennifer. Jennifer, I've learned that no matter the situation, it strengthens you in the moment and also redirects you to a greater opportunity. And this happens every single time. I believe that with all my heart. Gratitude has helped me shift perspective, Reverend Michael. You want to say a little bit more, please? Okay, Carol, a big one for me was a dissolution of my association with Swiss Stores that opened the door to establishing my own studio and gallery. Excellent. Sometimes we feel like we really can't do without a person, a place, or a thing. But that is our human attachment. This is why I love our way to pray when we say this or something better. Leighton says, can't talk, poor internet driving in the country. And I'm grateful for this. It's all good. Can you imagine you're still able to connect and tune in at a level? Okay, thanks, Leighton. I mean, this thing about being grateful in all things is really powerful. And I invite you to just as you continue to, whether the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and right throughout this year, look at every situation, just back off a little bit. Because sometimes, at least let me speak for myself, when I'm deeply immersed in it, I'm sometimes not very objective. So if I can allow myself to just detach a bit, I can gain perspective. I'm seeing, I see DV at JM #1. In spite of not having my truck, I am grateful because now I'm walking more and it has done wonders for my body. Awesome. And the truck or the right vehicle will come at the right time. Right? Dawn says, can't talk as I'm not sure what to say. Though very grateful for all that's happening. And that's good, Dawn. Either which way. Awesome. Okay. So, Carol, trying to see, feel gratitude for the dengue I'm experiencing right now. Is your body saying, rest me, rest me? Yeah. Yeah, I know that the dengue experience can be quite challenging. So we will hug you up and love you up in our prayer work this evening, Carol. So let me just invite you. Oh, this is another. So Leighton says, after all was done for me today by the universe, this is nothing. We must be relational. Truck, body, old car, stolen, new car, it don't matter. Everything. It's all God expressing. Thank you for that, Leighton. All right, so let's go to prayer. I invite you to write your prayer requests and we will, I'll do the prayers for you. Let me say a special welcome to those of you joining us on YouTube. Can't see you, but I know you're there and I welcome you to the Temple of Light's Tuesday evening healing service. Feel free to put your comments in the chat as well and we will make note and comment as appropriate. All right, so please write your prayer requests now in the chat and we will do our prayers for you. Okay. Reverend Michael says, I was stressed by dwelling on the situation, and gratitude for the good in my life made me think of something else. So I stopped thinking of the elephant in the room by thinking of the sun rising at dawn. Love that. One of the things I learned, Reverend Michael, is that the stress that you describe, you say, I was stressed by dwelling on the situation. Because when something happens, it's not the something happens that is upsetting. It's what we make the something that happens mean. So one of the things I do is when I'm feeling myself stressed and discombobulating, I focus on the situation and ask myself, I say, Sandra, what are you making this mean? And when I look at the story that I'm weaving in my head, I say, but stop. But nothing like that don't go. So is you making it up? What him do and what him say or what she mean or what this happen and what is going to mean for me and suppose and if and but and that is a story that makes us upset. So if I can create this story, I can create a different story. So we can relieve the stress by, sorry, let me say it again. You can become aware, just heighten your awareness around the thinking that's causing the distress that you're having. Dawn says, seeing everything more clearly as I move on in healthy eyes. So is this your request, Dawn, or is this something you're just grateful for? Right, so we can help Carol. Okay. So that can add to that, Dawn as well, Carol and Dawn. eyes. All right. Jennifer. Oh, yes, Jean is about to. Jeannie, right action and safe travel. Right action / safe travel for Jeannie. Okay, payment of outstanding fees. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're talking about being intentional. So okay, so it's the actions that you are taking or not taking around prosperity that you are looking at here, Leighton. I get that. Being intentional. Fees. Leighton. Oh, help for my baby. Help. Nathaniel. Baby. Okay. Shirley. Right action and clarity. And so you're being grateful for the revelation from this meeting. Thank you, Leighton. Peace and harmony at work among faculty and students, Reverend Michael. Okay. All right, so I'm going to begin with health. So this is an affirmative prayer of health, and it's for little baby Nathaniel, for Carol, and for Dawn. Oh, we affirm and know God as our source, our substance, as the health of our lives. That wonderful blueprint that was created and that is expressing in each and every one of us is of God. And so we declare and know that this blueprint is manifest perfectly in the wonderful and beautiful Carol Campbell. And in this little beautiful baby we know as Nathaniel, that directs perfect eyesight for Dawn. And for any of us who is open and receptive to perfect health in mind, in body, and in spirit, I declare now that this is our experience. I know that the health of God is expressed in every cell, in every fiber, in every tissue. It's that which allows every organ to work in perfect alignment with every other organ. I'm declaring and knowing that our body's temple is expressing perfect harmony in this moment, and that all systems are go, that everything works perfectly, easily, perfect assimilation, perfect elimination. We know that our heart is just pumping its blood through every part and parcel of our body. And it just is full of the wonderful energy and vibrancy of spirit. And so every part of our being is God expressing. And so I declare and know health as our experience right here, right now. And knowing that this is so, I release my word to the law that says, yes, And so for Carol and Nathaniel, for Dawn and everyone else, I know perfect health as our divine experience. I release these words and just know that it is so now. And so it is. And then, let me see what else is here. Right action. I declare and know that God is our perfect presence, guiding us, creating for us, through us, as us, in the most wonderful and perfect way. And so every one of us embraces the wisdom, the intelligence, the perfect right order and action of spirit. And we allow this to now manifest in our lives and affairs. So I know absolute right action and clarity for Shirley. I declare the same for Jeannie as she steps onto that aircraft to come home to Jamaica. I declare safe travel, perfect right action, and we welcome her home. And so we give thanks knowing that there is perfect travel for Jeannie. And I know for Pauline that all her affairs are in perfect order. All the resources she needs for her projects, all the right relationships, the right people, everything is unfolding easily, effortlessly, and perfectly. And for Leighton, I'm knowing at the center and circumference of his life, perfect right action and abundant supply as the coming in and the going out, as that he delivers his invoices in a timely manner and opens to receive the bounty of payment from immediate invoices for work that he has done most recently, and for all that might seem to be outstanding. But we know there's no time and space with spirit. Everything is happening now. And so for Leighton, I declare that whatever exists in his consciousness that might be a hindering factor to the inflow and outflow of his finances, I declare that gone and dissolved into nothingness. So I know perfect right action, embracing him and expressing in and through and as his affairs now. So for all these wonderful souls, I know that the right action of spirit is expressing and that all is well. I am grateful. And in the spirit of gratitude, I release these words and just know that it is done. I truly give thanks that this is so now. And so it is. Peace and harmony for the faculty and the students of Michael's Educational Institution. And I also would like to add to that, Dawn has a request for love in the world. And so I believe that that sense of peace and harmony and love must prevail, because there's God is love and God is all there is. And so we affirm and know the divine presence and power of the one we know as God, the one which expresses as peace, love, and harmony in and through and as each of us, in and through and as all of creation, across the world, right here at home and afar. I know for Michael's school that this sense of peace, love, and harmony is existing and expressing in all student and teacher alike. And so everyone comes with a sense of openness and understanding And that we know that there is only God to know, God to reveal. And we know that this presence, this truth, that God is all there is now revealed throughout this institution. I know the same across the world as the presence of peace, harmony, and love fills the hearts of every single person on the planet, and specifically the leadership of our nations. And so we give thanks to know that the wonderful blessing of peace, love, and harmony are binding us together, supporting us, nurturing us, and blessing us. We say, be gone to any sense of hostility, any anger, any resentment, any angst that might be present in any way that's causing disruption or dissent. We know that these feelings, these are now dissolved into nothingness because there is only God, and we declare it, we accept it. And so in this spirit of acceptance and joy, of peace, harmony, and love, we now release these words to that Lord that says, yes, it is done as we believe. I give thanks now that all of this is so, and so it joyfully is. Thank you, Reverend Michael. Thank you, Carol. Okay, did we have any requests from YouTube? Okay. All right, so we can go to Reverend Anna. I don't know if there are any additional announcements. I'm just gonna go with what we have. Let me just see here. Okay. So our Tai Chi classes continue with Stuart Maxwell on Fridays at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10. And there's a cost of $2,000 per person. And that's in the annex at Temple. Okay. And our Prosperity Palooza is almost at the halfway point. We've had week 1 where we were all immersed in green, and the topic was our giving makes it possible that it is our prosperity. The week 2 where we all wore yellow, gratitude as a spiritual magnet. You see, I'm still demonstrating the gratitude color. And that was on last week, Sunday. And Sunday coming, we have Prosperity in Action, and the speaker will be Reverend John Scott. The color is pink. So we are inviting you all to turn out in your various shades of pink on Sunday to participate in our week 3 service. Let me just make sure I have this here. Oops. Yes. Service, service and sharing. I'm sure we're going to be looking at tithing and giving. Oh, that's for the 4th week. Reverend Ann, you want to just tell us the colors for the next 3 weeks? Some of us have to plan our wardrobe.
Okay, it's pink this Sunday coming, and the Sunday after that, that is blue, right? No. Yes, blue. And then the 5th Sunday is purple, and the 6th Sunday is orange.
Okay, nice. All right, so we have all the pinks out in abundance this Sunday, and we're currently making arrangements for the blue, purple, and orange for the next 3 weeks. So do make sure you join us in person if you can, and of course online if you are if you are outside of Jamaica. Before we go, I did not change Carrie, it looks as if we are at next Tuesday, December 23rd, or you're speaking. Who is on next week, Tuesday, Reverend Ann?
Oh, Lord, it slipped me, honestly. And I looked at the roster today.
Well, I know that it's going to be a wonderful speaker, and he or she will definitely be continuing on the prosperity message in one way or the other. So I know it's something to look forward to next week, Tuesday, which will be January 20th. right? And so we look forward to seeing you at 6 o'clock.
Maybe Reverend Sonia.
It's Reverend Sonia, you say?
I'm not looking at the roster, but I think so.
Okay, thanks for that, Jen. All right, so friends, our temple thrives on your generosity, and we are grateful, deeply grateful for your kind givingness. So if you feel moved to support our ministry, please, you can donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And of course, we just hug you up for your generosity. We thank you and for helping us to be a beacon of light in the world. Okay, so now as you're about to hit that donate button, we invite you to say our blessing together. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase, and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father. And so it is. And we move forward with the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living, is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community, from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We truly are blessed, and to God be the honor and glory forever. And so it is. And the prayer of Jamaica. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our beautiful island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. Okay.
Before you close, Sandy, it's actually Vance next week, Tuesday.
Okay, Vance. So next week, Tuesday, our healing service will be led by practitioner Vance. So we invite you to come and bring a friend. We need to share this, we have some wonderful gems shared every Tuesday. And we would really love to have more persons participating. So come and bring a friend or two. Okay? Okay, so we've come to the end of another Tuesday evening spiritual mind healing service. I thank each and every one of you for making the choice to be here this evening. I know that, or let me say it here, I affirm that this evening has bestowed a special blessing on each and every one of you. And so I invite you to join me now in our closing affirmative prayer. We are grateful. We are grateful in this moment for the opportunity to gather near and far in one holy accord, celebrating the knowing that God is the source, the substance, and the all of our lives and affairs right here, right now, no question. And to know deeply, without hesitation, that we are one with God. in every situation, God is present. In every circumstance, God is leading the way. And no matter the appearance, we know that the unfolding is taking place and that there is a greater experience to be had. So we allow ourselves to just breathe through any perceived discomfort that might be occurring. We allow the stress to dissolve into nothingness because we can see to the heart of the situation and know in our own heart of hearts that everything is unfolding perfectly in the right time, in the right way. And we accept this. And so as we go off for the rest of the evening to our various activities, we take with us the awareness that Spirit is guiding us to see, to discern, to understand the truth of every situation. So we can rise and say, yes, in this circumstance, I am grateful. And so I release these words now, knowing that we all are in one accord, affirming and knowing the divine presence, large and in charge of all our affairs, all our circumstances, and that we are abundantly provided for. I truly am grateful for all this, and I give thanks that it is so, and so it is. Amen. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Miss Sandra.
Thank you, Miss Dawn. And
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
Next week, Tuesday, with Vance for his wonderful sharing on our Tuesday evening healing service. See you all then.